So, I think some of you are here now, and I think we don't need to wait for other students. They can come one by one. So maybe start our class. To begin the class with reciting Namo Tassa 3 times all together. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato
Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato
Samma
Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa.
Okay, my respect to the Threefold, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. My respect to Sayadaw, Venerable Revata, lecturer of ITBM University, and my respect to Venerable Thera. My regard to all venerable and also lay students in this classroom, Buddhism in English, level 4. So welcome back to our classroom, to our discussion. From last week, from previous week, we discussed about the 5 precepts, the benefits of 5 precepts, and also we discussed a little bit about the Dhammacakkappavattanato Sutta, the important discourse. The background story of Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, and facts to learn. There are 3 facts to learn to avoid the 2 extremes, to view the 4 Noble Truths, and to follow the Noble Eightfold Path. And I already presented. We already discussed about the 2 extremes. To avoid the 2 extremes, the practice of enjoyment in sense pleasure, we call Kama Sakkalikana Yoga, and the practice for the practice of the attachment in practice to self-indulgence, Attakalamatthana Yoga. So these are the 2 extremes that we have to avoid, because these 2 paths, these 2 extremes cannot lead us to attain Parinibbāna, to attain the true liberation, what we call Nibbāna. So today we have a chance to study with another facts, what we call the 4 Noble Truths. You have to view about the 4 Noble Truths. Today we have the special presenter with the Sayadaw of Mind, the teacher of mind. He is a lecturer in ITBM University, International Theravada Buddhist Missionary University, that I have just finished my BA in Buddha Dhamma or Buddhist Studies. I would like to introduce you a little bit about Sayadaw. Sayadaw's name is Ashino Venerable Revata. Most of the monks, especially scholar or learned monk in Myanmar, they got the title Sayadaw. Of course, the title Sayadaw is a term used for learned monks, scholar monk, who are well versed in Buddhist teaching. So they got for the title Sayadaw. Sayadaw refer to teacher. In Pali we can call Guru, or we can call Guru in our Cambodian language. So today we have this special occasion to learn with him the 4 Noble Truths. So I would like to invite Sayadaw Venerable Revata, lecturer of ITBM University, to present about this important fact to learn, the 4 Noble truths. So Sayadaw, the floor is yours. So please begin, Sayadaw. So I will end my slide. Okay. So, yes.
Okay, before beginning my presentation, firstly, I'd like to say thank you, Venerable Sorata, for inviting me to present about the Four Noble Truths. And actually, within short time, I arranged this PowerPoint presentation. So I hope you will easily understand. Okay, actually, sorry. Actually, the Four Noble Truths were preached by the Buddha in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, just now as Venerable Sorata explained to you. And firstly, the Buddha begin with the two extremes to be avoided and to follow the middle way. And then, according to this Mahasatipatthana Sutta, the first sermon, we should know the Four Noble Truths. So, following this, about these Four Noble Truths, following the 6 years of struggle, the Buddha realized the Four Noble Truths under the Bodhi tree. These Noble Truths are found in all beings as realities of the universe. So these Four Noble Truths are actually already exist in all beings. Even, everyone, we can find these Four Noble Truths. But we don't know how to find, we don't know the way how to find. That's why we haven't seen these Four Noble Truths. But the Buddha discovered these Four Noble Truths under the Bodhi tree. And the Buddha stated that in this 1 fathom long body, along with its positions and thoughts, to proclaim the world, the origin of the world, the cessation of the world, and the path leading to the cessation of the world. So this is in other words, it is about the Four Noble Truths. Here you can see the Buddha used the word, the 10 words. It is used to imply life or being. So sometimes the Buddha used the word in Pali, loka. Loka means here the word or the life or being. The Dhamma is an incontrovertible fact of life. Whether the Buddha arise or not, these two exist. So whether the Buddha appears in the world or not, these Four Noble Truths have already existed. So for us, we cannot find these Four Noble Truths, but only when the Buddha preached about these Four Noble Truths, we can listen to his teaching, we can listen to his Dhamma, and we can know there are Four Noble Truths in the world. And, a Buddha reveals the Dhamma to the deluded world. These are called the Four Noble Truths because they were discovered or realized by the Ariyas or noble enlightened ones. So they are called Four Noble Truths because they were discovered by the noble ones. That's why they are noble truths. They are called noble truths. And the Buddha taught the Four Noble Truths to the 5 ascetics. 5 ascetics in the first sermon at Deer Park. In the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, the Buddha preached these Four Noble Truths to the 5 ascetics. Benjawaki in his first sermon at Diyabak. The Four Noble Truths constitute the central tenets of Buddhism. So as you know, the Buddha's teachings, if we summarize the Buddha's teachings, we can see there only 2 cause and effect. In the Kamma Desana, we can also find the cause and effect. So this cause and effect is very important in Buddhism. So if there is a effect or results, there must be causes or conditions. So every result has a cause. Maybe sometimes one result has more than one conditions. There are many conditions. So here you can see the Four Noble Truths, cause and effect. So the first one is a noble truth or suffering. So Dukkha Ariya Sajja, the noble truth or suffering. This is a result or effect. And its cause or its origin is the noble truth or the origin of suffering. So we can see here effect and cause and effect. So suffering is a effect or results. And the samudaya sajja. Samudaya is attachment or lobha, greed in English. Lobha, samudaya is the cause of suffering. So if we want to remove suffering, we cannot directly remove the suffering, but we must know the cause of the suffering. So if we can remove the cause of suffering, the suffering will automatically be removed. So in this way, we must know the cause and effect. In the same way, the other 2 noble truths, the noble truth of cessation, the noble truth of the birth leading to the cessation, we can also see the cause and effect here. The noble truth of the cessation is actually Nibbāna. If we want to attain Nibbāna, we must try to do the things that can lead to Nibbāna. It means that we must practice the 4th noble truth, the noble truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering. It is actually called the Magga Sajja. Here you can see the 4 noble truths, the noble truth of suffering, Dukkha Ariya Sajja. In easy way, we can call Dukkha Sajja. And the cause of suffering, that is the noble truth or the origin of suffering, that is also easily called Samudaya Sajja. And that one, the noble truth or the cessation of suffering, it is called Nirodha Sajja. In other words, it is also called Nibbāna. Nibbāna has no suffering. That's why the noble truth or cessation of suffering, Nirodha Sajja, is called Nibbāna. So to attain Nibbāna, we must do something that can lead us to attain Nibbāna. That is a Magga Sajja, the noble truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering. That's why if we want to attain Nibbāna, we must try to practice Magga Sajja. According to the 4 noble truths, we must try to practice the 4th one, Magga Sajja, the noble truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering. So actually, just now, as I said, cause and effect is very important in Buddhism. So from the standpoint of truths, noble truths, we can also see the cause and effect. In the Kamma Desana also, we can see the cause and effect. If we do good deeds, we will get the good results. If we do bad deeds, we will get the bad results. There is a kind of, cause and effect. The law of Kamma, a cause and effect. In the 4 noble truths also, we can see like this, a cause and effect. If we see the Paticca Samuppada, I hope you may know the Paticca Samuppada. Avijja paccaya sankhara, sankhara paccaya vijnana. Because of ignorance, information arises extra. So because of some reasons, one result will appear. So according to Buddhism also, we can see, if there is a result, there must be the cause. So every result must have a cause. So some result may have many causes or many conditions. So in the Patthana also, there are 24 conditions, 24 causes. So we had to live as a human being. We had to live with the 24 conditions, 24 causes in the 24 hours. So for 24 hours in a day, there are 24 hours. We had to live the 24, live with the 24 conditions. It means 24, Patthana, Paccaya. So Hetu Paccaya, for example, Hetu. So there are 6 kinds of roots. Hetu, Loba, Dosa, Moha, Aloba, Adosa, Amoha, etc. So we had to live with those roots, Loba, Dosa, Moha, or Aloba, Adosa, Amoha. If we can have a good roots of Aloba, Adosa, Amoha, we can get the good results. If we have a bad roots or Loba, Dosa, Moha, so we will get the bad results. Bad results will come to us because we cultivate or we develop the bad roots of Loba, Dosa, Moha in our heart. But on the other hand, if we can cultivate and develop the good rules in our heart, Aloba, Adosa, Amoha, so we can get the good results. We can expect the good results because we can also see here, in the Patthana also cause and effect. So if we summarize the Buddhist teaching, we will see cause and effect. That's why cause and effect is a very important in Buddhism. So we should understand this fact or the cause and effect. And from other side, if we see the Buddha is regarded as the peerless physician who is capable of diagnosing exactly the illness of each and every being. So the Buddha is like a great physician. So he knows the disease or the illness of beings. So as a doctor, so for example, if we see as a doctor, he knows what is the disease experiencing in a patient. So firstly, he needs to know what is the disease. Someone is suffering or someone is feeling. So firstly, he should know what the disease is. So after that, he should also know the cause of the disease. So if he can find the cause of the disease, so if the doctor can cure the cause of the disease, so can remove the causes, so the disease will be automatically removed. So the Buddha also, the Buddha is like a great physician, peerless physicians. He can diagnose exactly the illness of each and every being. It was this narrow expression that the Buddha taught the Four Noble Truths. First, he showed that the world is founded on suffering. Dukkha logo patetido. So we are actually staying on the suffering. So because we don't know what is a dukkha exactly, that's why we don't know we are living on the dukkha. But if we actually know, if we clearly know what the dukkha, what the suffering is, so we will know we have to live with the suffering. So we cannot avoid the suffering as a human being. So no one can avoid the sufferings, but we had to face these sufferings. But how to remove the suffering, we should know. If we want to remove the suffering, we must find the cause of suffering. If we can remove the cause of suffering, we can automatically remove the suffering. So we cannot directly remove the suffering. So here also, the Buddha, that's why he said the world is founded on suffering. So suffering is an undeniable and universal disease that should be comprehended. So as a human being, we don't want to experience suffering. We want to stay away from the suffering. But we cannot directly remove the suffering. So we should know what the suffering is. Suffering is an undeniable and universal disease. Universal suffering, like a disease. Suffering is like a disease. We cannot avoid, we cannot deny this suffering. We will have to face unavoidably. So how to live with suffering is very important. So the Buddha showed the way how to live with the suffering and how to, overcome the suffering by removing the cause of that suffering. So here, suffering is undeniable. Everyone must encounter this suffering. No one can avoid this suffering. Therefore, suffering is an undeniable and universal disease that should be comprehended. So we should understand what the suffering is. Firstly, regarding the first noble truth, we should understand what the suffering is. And then another one, craving. Craving is the cause of the disease. The suffering we had to experience every day is the cause of craving. So we should also know that craving is the cause of the disease, the cause of suffering, and the origin of suffering. So that should be abandoned, pahadabba. So if we want to remove the suffering, we must find the cause of suffering, the origin of suffering. And then we can remove the origin of suffering, the cause of suffering. If so, we can automatically remove the suffering as well. So in this way, we should understand, firstly, the suffering is to be known, not to be abandoned. And craving, the cause of suffering, is to be abandoned, pahadabba, not to be just known. We must abandon the craving. If we know the cause of suffering is the craving, so we must remove the craving. And then the third noble truth, Nibbāna, or the cessation of suffering, is the cure for the diseases. If we can cure the diseases, we can be happy, or we can be free from the diseases. So if we can be free from the diseases, it is like attaining the Nibbāna. So we can remove all diseases from our body and mind. So we can be happy and we can be free from the suffering. So that should be realized. Sachikadabba, we must see the Nibbāna. We must realize the Nibbāna. And the last one, the way leading to the cessation of suffering is the remedy. So it is like a medicine, which is the Noble Eightfold Path. So Magga Sajja, the last noble truth, is a Magga Sajja, which is the Noble Eightfold Path that should be developed by Vedabba. So if we want to, if we want to reach some places, we must have an energy. So we must try to feel our energy. To be stronger and stronger, we must try to feel our energy. So in this way, here also Magga Sajja, we must develop Magga Sajja, Eightfold Noble Path. Eightfold Noble Path, you may know the Eightfold Noble Path: Samma Ditti, Samma Sankappa, Samma Vāca, Samma Kammanta, Samma Ajiva, Samma Vāyama, Samma Sati, Samma Sati. So these Eightfold Noble Paths must be developed. We must try to develop those Eightfold Noble Paths. So if we have a strong, noble path, so we can remove the craving. If we can remove the craving, we can, we can be free from the suffering and we can attain the Nibbāna. So among the four, the most important thing to do is a Magga Sajja. So if we can do Magga Sajja, if we can practice Magga Sajja, if we can develop the Magga Sajja, so we can remove the craving and also we can be free from suffering. At the same time, we can attain Nibbāna. So this is a chat to understand as a 12 aspects of wisdom. So if we know one sajja, dukkha sajja, we should also understand that the noble truth of suffering is me sajja jnana, and the second one that should be fully understood, kejja jnana. So we should do regarding dukkha sajja is we must try to understand what the dukkha sajja is, what is the noble truth of suffering is. So regarding the dukkha sajja, we must firstly know what is the noble truth of suffering, and then we should also know it is to be understood. And then we should also know that after fully understanding, so we should also understand like this: oh, I have been understood what the dukkha sajja is. In this way, 3 aspects we must know regarding dukkha sajja. In the same way, regarding samudaya sajja also, we must know 3 aspects. The first, the noble truth or the origin of suffering. What is the noble truth or the origin of suffering? And then regarding samudaya sajja, what we should do is to abandon the samudaya sajja. That is a kind of kejja jnana. And then after removing the samudaya sajja, we should also know, we should also understand, oh, I have been abandoned the samudaya sajja like this. We must understand regarding the samudaya sajja. In the same way, regarding the nirodha sajja, we must understand, we must know the 3 aspects. The first one is the noble truth or cessation of suffering. What is the noble truth or cessation of suffering? We must understand, we must know. And then regarding nirodha sajja, what we should do is we must realize the nirodha sajja, the noble truth or cessation of suffering. After realizing nirodha sajja, we should also know, oh, I have been realized. Nirodha sajja, I have been realized. Nibbāna, I have attained Nibbāna. In this way, we can know 3 aspects regarding nirodha sajja. And in the same way, the last one, Magga sajja. Regarding Magga sajja also, we should know the 3 aspects. The first one, we should know the noble truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering is, what is the noble truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering? Sajja jnana. And then regarding Magga sajja, what we should do is to develop Magga sajja. So you should know the word here, should be fully understood regarding dukkha sajja, should be fully understood. And regarding samudaya sajja, should be abandoned, should be removed, should be cut off. And regarding nirodha sajja, it should be realized. Kejja jnana should be realized. And regarding Magga sajja, should be developed. So if we want to free from dukkha, we must develop Magga sajja, and we must abandon the samudaya sajja, and also we must understand what the dukkha sajja is, and also we should realize the nirodha sajja. So in this way, there are 12 aspects of wisdom we should understand regarding the 4 noble truths. And another one, so among the four noble truths, the first one is a dukkha. Regarding this dukkha, the Buddha preached in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. Oh, this bhikkhu is the noble truth or suffering. What is the suffering here? The Buddha explained, birth is suffering. Jatipi dukkha, aging is suffering. Jarapi dukkha, sickness is suffering. Vyadipi dukkha, death is suffering. Sorrow and lamentation, pain, grief, and despair are suffering. And association with the unloved or unpleasant condition is suffering. Separation from the beloved or present condition is suffering. Not to get what one wants is suffering. In brief, the 5 aggregates of attachment, the 5 aggregates of clinging are suffering. This is briefly the Buddha stated regarding the dukkha satya. If you understand what dukkha satya is, so it will be enough for you. So the first one, birth is suffering. Most people, if someone is born, we are happy for the grandparents or parents. If they have a grandchild or if they have a child, so they are happy. Actually, birth is suffering, the Buddha said. So why did the Buddha say so? Birth is suffering. So after being born, so aging will follow. So after being born, it does not stop there. So aging will follow. That's why. So that is a suffering. So aging is suffering and the sickness is suffering. So mostly we have a headache or we have a cold, we have a sore throat, etc. Sometimes we had to experience such a sickness or disease. So that's why it is not satisfactory nets. They are unsatisfactory net. That's why they are called dukkha. Sickness is suffering, and that is very clear. So that is also suffering. But some people think when we die, suffering will stop. Suffering will, extinguish. But according to Buddhism, after this present life, if we cannot remove all the 5 means, we will have to continue another new existence. So that's why if we cannot, eliminate, if we cannot remove, if we cannot cut off all the 5 means, we have to continue new life. So in this life also, we had to step back. So being born, but is suffering will start again, according to Buddhism. But some people may think if they die, suffering will automatically extinguish. Suffering will stop automatically. But it is not so according to Buddhism. So as a Buddhist, being dead is not end of suffering. So we must continue because we cannot remove all the 5 means and we cannot become an arahant. So we must continue new life. In that life, we must be reborn as a being. So that part is also suffering. Again, after being born, we must have a aging. We must experience aging also. That is also suffering. In this way, suffering is a continuously happening all the time. So if we have a mindfulness and wisdom to see what the suffering is, we will see the suffering is around us. So in our body and in our mind also, suffering is always staying with us. So we cannot avoid, we cannot, stay away from the suffering. Okay, and next one, the sorrow and lamentation. Sometimes we can be sorry, we can be, crying, or we can have a pain, we can have grief and despair. They are also suffering. And association with the unloved or unpleasant condition is suffering. So if we don't like someone, that someone trying to live with us, so it is also a kind of suffering. We cannot, satisfy with that person, but that person were trying to live with us. to stay with us, to be with us. So that is also a kind of suffering. So if we have a mindfulness and understanding, so we can see the suffering is around us all the time. And also separation from the beloved and pleasant. So if we, lost something we love or someone we love, that is also a kind of suffering. Although sometimes we try to get something we want, but we cannot get it. So at the time also suffering, we can see the suffering because when we cannot get what we want at the time, our feeling cannot be good. So that is also a kind of suffering. So the Buddha briefly preached later, the 5 aggregates of attachment or the 5 aggregates of clinging are suffering. So we have the 5 aggregates as a result of our past karma and defilements. So we have it now as a being, we have a 5 aggregates. Everyone who has 5 aggregates must experience the suffering. We cannot avoid the suffering. So we should understand that suffering is with us all the time. We must understand. So if we understand we must find another one. What is the cause of suffering like this? And we will run a little faster. I think the time is nearly completed. Regarding suffering, the Buddha divided 3 kinds of suffering. 3 kinds of suffering. The first one, dukkha. I step from the bottom, the number 1, 2, 3. Dukkha, ordinary suffering. Second one, viparinama dukkha, suffering experienced by change. And the third one, sankhara dukkha, suffering is experienced by conditioned states. So dukkha is a very clear to see around our environment. And viparinama dukkha also sometimes we have a headache, we have a cold, we have a sore throat, etc. We have a disease, different kinds of disease. So it's also viparinama dukkha, suffering is experienced by change. Sometimes we may be happy, but that happiness also will change after some time. So that is also a kind of, viparinama dukkha. So happiness cannot last all the time, cannot last forever. So the happiness will change into the suffering again. So that's why, viparinama dukkha. And sankhara dukkha is if we have a insight knowledge, we can easily see the sankhara dukkha. So within a moment, every nama and rupa arises and disappear like this. If we have a insight knowledge, we can easily see sankhara dukkha is to be with us. Sankhara dukkha is staying with us. We will see if we have a insight knowledge. So regarding suffering, we should know these 3 kinds of suffering: dukkha, viparinama dukkha, sankhara dukkha. Ordinary suffering experienced by change, and suffering experienced by conditioned states. So regarding dukkha, the noble truth of suffering, we must understand what the noble truth of suffering is, what the dukkha is. We must understand. Okay, second one, the origin of dukkha. Regarding this dukkha, the Buddha preached in Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. This, O Bhikkhu, is the noble truth or the origin of suffering. It is craving that produces rebirth, wonder with pleasure and greed. It finds delight in this and that. In other words, craving for sense pleasures, craving for existence or becoming, and craving for non-existence or self-annihilation. So here, The craving is the cause of the original suffering. It can produce rebirth. So only one action cannot produce the new existence, new life. Together with the craving and defilements, karma can produce the new life or new existence. The main cause of becoming a new life is the craving. So the craving can produce rebirth and can bond up with the pleasure and greed. The craving always finds delight in this and that. So if we have a craving, we are trying to get, the happiness all the time. Sometimes we may listen to the sound we like, we love, and sometimes we may go somewhere we want extra. We will visit the beautiful places. So because of the craving, we will find the delight things in here and there. In other words, craving can be divided into three. Craving for sense pleasures, the first one. Craving for existence or becoming. And craving for non-existence or self-annihilation. So craving can be divided into three. The first one is a craving for sensual pleasures. So craving will find the sensual pleasure. We want to see the beautiful things. We want to listen to the sweet sounds. We want to smell the good smell. We want to taste the good taste, the delicious taste, delicious food. And also we want to touch the soft things. We want to think good things, something that can make us happy. We will think of those things extra. So craving for sensual pleasure. And the second one, craving for becoming. So although we do meritorious deeds, we may expect to be a better life, like, after doing good deeds, we may wish for becoming a human better life, or to be reborn in a happy state, like a deities or celestial world, and to be a Brahma extra. We may make a wish after doing good deeds. Actually, whatever good deeds we have done, after we have done, we should wish to attain Nibbāna, to be free from all kinds of suffering. So if we have a craving to become a new life, so we will be going around the samsara. We cannot attain Nibbāna like this. And last one, craving for annihilation. Sometimes we want to stop our lives, going around the 31 planes. We may believe after death, there is no life like this. We want to stop. So if we believe there is no life after death, we will do whatever we want. So such a craving also, we shouldn't be beard in our mind, shouldn't be, accepted. We shouldn't accept such a craving also. So here, three kinds of craving we must understand regarding the Samudaya Satya, the second noble truth, the noble truth or the origin of suffering. So we must remove these three kinds of craving. Craving for sensual pleasure, craving for becoming, craving for annihilation. And the third one, the cessation of dukkha. Regarding this dukkha, the Buddhas stated in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, thus, this, O Bhikkhu, is the noble truth or the cessation of suffering. It is the complete cessation of suffering, giving up, renouncing, relinquishing, detaching from craving. So here, the last word you may see, the detaching from craving. So free from craving. So the word Nibbāna also need and wana, combination of need and wana. Need means being free from the wana means a craving. So Nibbāna is a free from craving. If we can remove craving, if we can remove attachment, if we can remove clinging, so we will attain Nibbāna. So if we cut out the attachment or clinging or craving from our mind, we can attain Nibbāna. So when I was in Cambodia, I haven't seen someone who like chewing. In Myanmar, Venerable Sorata will know most Myanmar people like chewing the betel. So if they have attachment to the betel, they cannot remove the attachment. So regarding the suffering regarding the chewing betel, they will have to experience. But if someone can cut off the attachment to the chewing the betel, so he can be happy, he can be free from the suffering regarding chewing the betel. So maybe some people are, attached to drinking alcohol. For him, if he attaching to the drinking alcohol, so all the time, most of the time, he will find the alcohol to drink. Firstly, he has a suffering or searching for the alcohol. After drinking, also there are many problems and sufferings regarding the drinking alcohol. So if he can remove the attachment or clinging to drinking alcohol, so he can be happy regarding, he can be free from the suffering regarding the drinking alcohol. So if we can remove attachment to the 5 aggregates, we can remove it, so we can be happy and we can attain kind of Nibbāna, because we can remove the craving regarding something. So regarding the 5 aggregates, if we can remove our craving for 5 aggregates, we can attain Nibbāna in this way. So Nibbāna, regarding Nibbāna also, there are 2 kinds of Nibbāna, Sa-upadisesa Nibbāna and Anupadisesa Nibbāna. So the first one, Nibbāna with the aggregates remaining. After becoming a Buddha under the Bodhi tree, the Buddha has eradicated, has removed all the 5 myths, but he has 5 aggregates remaining. He does not pass away at the time. He didn't pass away at the time. So he has 5 aggregates remaining, but he has already removed, already eradicated all the 5 myths. So such a condition is called the Sa-upadisesa Nibbāna. He has a remaining aggregates. But after passing away under the Bodhi tree, he has already eliminated all the 5 myths. And also after passing away, 5 aggregates are extinguished, so nothing remains. So such a state is called Anupadisesa Nibbāna. So regarding the Nirodha Sajja, regarding the Nibbāna, 2 kinds of Nibbāna we should understand in this way.
Sarovia. Hello, everyone.
Yes, hello.
Okay, maybe Cyro side. Cyro connection is non-stable, I think. Sarovia. Hello, Seattle. Oh. Is he still here? Oh, he's not here. I will invite him to come back, so please wait. Oh, he's back. Oh, settle, please. Okay.
Venerable, I saw you unmute.
Sarah, so you are, please unmute yourself because you are mute yourself.
Okay. Because of just now connection. Okay, you see the screen. There's the last noble truth, the noble truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering. It is simply the noble eightfold path. So I hope you all know the right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, and right livelihood. And then right effort, right awareness of mindfulness, and right concentration. So these are the noble truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering. If we want to stay away from the suffering, we must try to practice. We must try to develop these eightfold noble path, noble eightfold path. So these eightfold noble path can be divided into three kinds of training. Three kinds of training. The first one, training of morality, sila, sikha. Second one, training of concentration, samadhi, sikha. That one, training of wisdom, panya, sikha. So if we want to eliminate defilements step by step, we can remove them. So if we have a morality or sila, we can, carrot the branches. So we must use these three kinds of training. So here you can see the screen. Removing the defilement is just as killing a big trees. So if we want to kill the big tree, we must firstly cut the small branches and leaves. And then we must sap, or we must cut the big trunk as a second stage. And at that stage, we must try to uproot all the roots from the earth. So if we can do so, we can completely kill the big trees. So in the same way, if we want to remove the defilement, we must go step by step. Firstly, by observing sila, we must cut the small branches and leaves. And then if we practice samadhi, so we can sap the big trunk. And then if we can practice, if we can attain the insight knowledge and path knowledge, we can uproot all the roots, so the defilements. So in this way, we can try to kill a big tree of the defilements. So defilements are like a big tree, so we can try to kill that tree of defilements by 3 stages. So now we reach the conclusion. So you have already known what are the 4 noble truths. And the first one is a dukkha and 3 kinds of dukkha. And what is the second noble truth? The noble truth of the original suffering, samudaya satya. Regarding samudaya satya, there are 3 kinds of craving. And that one, nirodha satya, the noble truth of cessation of suffering, nirodha satya. Regarding nirodha satya, there are 2 kinds of Nibbāna. I hope you have learned. And the last one, the noble truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering. Regarding the last one, there are 8-fold noble paths we must try to develop. So there are 4 kinds of noble truths. So we can use it in our daily life also. Suffering is like a problem. So we had to face many kinds of problems in our life. So if we have a problem, we must know what this problem is. And then we must also know what is the cause of this problem. We must find the cause or origin of the problem. So if we know the problem and the cause of the problem. We must cut out the cause of the problem. So if we can remove the cause of problem, the problem will be automatically, extinguished. And in this way, we must also find a way to solve the problem. So what is the way to solve the problem? We must also know, and we must try to develop the way to solve the problem. So if we can apply the way to solve the problem, we can extinguish the problem. So we can also apply these Four Noble Truths. So how can you apply these Four Noble Truths in our daily life? In this way, you can also discuss about that. So not only to attain Nibbāna, but also to solve the problem. Also, we can use these Four Noble Truths. So thank you very much, and may all of you happily propagate and perpetuate the Buddha's dispensation. So that's all for today. So.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you so much, Seattle, for your presentation, your great presentation on the Four Noble Truths. Your presentation enlightened us more detail about the Four Noble Truths. So I think we need to have the break room discussion, because I think we have no time for Q&A, for question and answer. Actually, I would like to invite Nyom Sutiri. Nyom Sutiri, please have to arrange the breakout room for 6 group. So you may have around 5 members to discuss. Okay. Seattle,
Okay.
if you can stay here and visit room by room, and then to get them to discuss. Thank you, to help them to discuss. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Cứ chưa được phân. Yeah. Chụp tốt vậy nha.
Yeah, don't worry, you can explain English. Sister trainer maybe very hard to understand, but try hard to listen, sister, because our class to explain English, not explain Khmer. So, and our topic is so big, cannot explain Khmer a long time, right? Sister, you understand?
Yes, Panadua.
Try
For
hard.
those who don't understand, please raise your hand to ask the question. For example, enough to raise the answer or to clearly answer the question. That is the mistake.
Is very essential for any people to follow in order to practice in daily life. Like the teachers say, the problem, we have to find the problem. The immorality is the problem. So we have to find the cause of the problem, the cause of having the immorality in society. But sometimes maybe lack of education in the education system that cause many people to have a shortage of immorality, maybe education, I think. And we have to find out many issues that make the people lack of the morality. And I think maybe I have no idea about that. I want all you to talk about the Four Noble Truths. To mention the lesson we learned today by the teacher about the called the Four Noble Truths, the cause of suffering, but about the one Parivaddha, three Parivaddha in 12 ways. Can you remember? I cannot remember well. So I would like all of you to summarize for each of that. But what can you summarize about 12 Parivaddha, 12 Parivaddha là pi chứ này có này.
Yeah, 12 Padajja Samuppada. Causation and dependent causation or
not Padajja Samuppada, about the 12 way or 12 aspects about the cause of suffering, the cessation of suffering, the past living of suffering that they say in the lesson that we learned. Can you remember?
You
What about the cause of suffering? There are three multiplied 4, 12.
Yes, I agree. Listen.
Yeah. Ngày chỉ vật tiếp tục. Kịch Phật đây. Dương cả món ăn dương kịch Phật ở Islam thành
Cái nào tiền?
là kịch Phật mà người đấy. Thế khai dương học tiêm luôn á, bây giờ ở ban riêng Phật, ở ban tiêm luôn dương cả Phật lành. Thì sai dương ọt tu squat là vì mình cú thì dương ở trong pháp thì của dương nơi miền của sai dương đâu miền trọp sầm bát dương nơi trọp ảnh năng đi sai thì dương đi sai dương trọp đó tôi đi sai chút ngày gần thì tôi ngồi tại bệnh viện ăn vô là năng thay vì tiếp tục được một phút mà được bốn mất là ngồi luôn đây trong cõi mô khinh sẽ trả quan
About the groups.
Okay, we come back. Your discussion time with.
Yeah. Thank you, Phante Guru. I think we discuss time in small room.
Thank you, Guru.
Brandford. We come back to our manual. Yes. I think you enjoy that you learn a lot today from Seattle Venerable Revata. He is not here. I wish to invite him to present next time, maybe about the Noble Eightfold Fast. The factors in the Noble Eightfold Fast.
Yeah.
I wish to invite him to have another presentation. Actually, okay, you come back. I would like to inform you that for Sayadaw, I forgot to introduce you about him. He is his specification in Vipassana. Actually, he is a Vipassana teacher of mine. He is a Vipassana teacher in ITBMU. He also came to Cambodia last month. Also visited Cambodia last month. That's why he mentioned about showing the beetle. When he came to Cambodia, he has not seen someone, especially monk, showing the beetle. But it chancellor no pumia songទាំងប្រសងជាពិសេសគឺប្រហោះប្រសងចូលចិត្ត chancellor បាទតែញៀននៅក្នុងចក្រ chancellor the the cessation of suffering, the third noble truth. Most of the monks in Myanmar are tied to chewing their betel. When he visited Cambodia, he noticed that no monks chewing the betel, something like that. He also came to Cambodia last month, and I wish to invite him to present more about the factors in Noble Eightfold Path. For next week, we will have to listen to learn with the foreigner presenter as well, also from Myanmar. We will learn about the first two Noble Paths. As you already know about the Noble Eightfold Paths, right understanding or right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right awareness or right mindfulness, and right concentration. There are 8 factors in the Noble Eightfold Path. So from next week, you will study the first two paths, the right understanding, samadhi, and samasankappa, right thought. So I hope you enjoy the presentation today. You learn a lot from today, and you will also learn more about the factors, the first two factors in the Noble Eightfold Path. So the class today finished. We will end our class by already adding our metta to all sentient beings altogether. Tukhapatta jane tukha payapatta janapaya sokapatta jani soka pontu sape vipaneno. May all beings who have fallen into suffering be without suffering, who have fallen into danger be without danger, who have fallen into sorrow be without sorrow. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So thank you for today. See you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable
Assalamualaikum,
teacher.
dear crew.
Thank you.